One.
This is case study 13 from group 5 by Almo, Mark, Noah, and Jesus.
We're going to be going over introductions, design build, the questions over it, questions that's going to be answered, and then we'll have like a slight brief overview over it all. Next slide.
My name is Noah Garza. I'm from Austin, Texas, and I'm a senior majoring in architecture.
My name is Mark Williams. I am a junior major in construction science with a minor in military science. I have a little bit of expertise in regular construction.
Hi, my name is Alma. I'm from Houston. I'm a senior majoring in construction science, and I have some experience in heavy civil as a field engineer.
I'm a senior construction science major, and I have 2 years of experience working as an apprentice plumber. Next slide.
For the case overview, we have a large nationwide bank is consolidating more than 10 computer operations centers into one large center. In-house resources were available to manage the project, but because of its limited experience with fast tracking, the bank chose to use a design build project delivery approach with qualifications-based selection procurement. Construction management at risk was seriously considered, but the bank did not want to be responsible for the designer's performance. Given the need for extraordinary speed and efficiency, using qualifications-based selection, the bank chose a constructor-led team with a constructor that had experience with the product type and aggressive schedules. The 75 million project was designed and built in 10 months, and the project was completed below the GMP.
The questions are, why did the bank decide to use design build? Do you agree with his reasons? Why did the bank use a qualifications-based selection? What would have been the pros and cons of using the best value total cost or low bid procurement? Neither bridging documents nor a bridging consultant were used, and so on and so forth. We'll go on to the next slide.
So for question 1, why did the bank decide to use design build? Do you agree with this reason? And I said the bank chose to use design build because of the timely manner they wanted the construction to be completed, and because they did not want to be held accountable for the quality of design produced due to the strict schedule they were enforcing. For this project, I think the bank was right for choosing design build. Computer operation centers are generally very similar, meaning it's very easy to base new facilities off previous facilities. Had this been a more complex design, I believe design build might not have been the way to go. Next slide. Why did the bank use qualifications-based selection? What would have been the pros and cons using best value, total cost, or low bid procurement? And I said, the bank decided to use qualification-based selection because, as said in the description, premiums to accelerate the project are pennies on the dollar compared to the operational savings available to the bank, meaning that the bank had enough money that they didn't have to worry about trying to find the best deal to save money. Also, qualification-based selection allowed the bank to maintain a certain amount of control over the project. And the pros, using best value, total cost or low bid procurement would have been the amount of money they could have saved on the project. But the cons to this is the time they would have to spend. The time they would have to spend is time needed that time they could have used to complete the project. Next slide.
Neither bridging documents nor a bridging consultant were used. Should they have been? And I said in most cases, yes, but this one, not so much. The reason why, just given the results, they already had like an in-house staff hired that could do everything with verifying quality control of the project. The QBS selection process allowed like an open relationship policy where documents and tasks were shared from the day to day, which the main purpose of a bridging consultant would be a person or another entity consolidating all the technical designs, concepts, and layouts like a certain project to include, the management, reporting, policy, and etc. All this will enhance an owner's way and will to establish certain aspects of what they are buying, like risks and costs, and advantages and slash disadvantages that may occur during the project. But this time, time was of the essence for this project, as well as saving money. Next slide. What was the bank's biggest reason for not using construction management at risk? And basically the simple answer for that would just be speed. Speed was the biggest reason. Ultimately, it came down to fast tracking in a timely schedule. We know under the CMR, there are separate contracts and separate phases in the project. For example, picking a design, who takes it basically takes a big chunk of time, and it was of the essence for this. So we wanted to put it all under one contract. And that's what Design Build did for us. Next slide.
For number 5, if the schedule requirement was such that more time had been available, would that have affected your recommendation of whether to use Design Build? I put because there's different methods, you will have different outcomes. The fact that they went with a Design Build was a smart choice because the benefits to the client include the potential for a lower final project cost, a faster schedule, and a significant reduction of risk. It's also possible to have the Design Build process applied to just a portion of the project, but that would be, a different route. But this having Design Build also provides the owner with the ability to provide significant input into the process throughout the project's design phase. Overall, I think it was a good choice to have for it to be Design Build because you'll save money throughout the entire project at the end of the day.
Question 6. The Design Build entity was a contractor-led team. Could the Design Build entity have been a designer-led or an integrated firm? Would either have brought more benefits to the project? I think that the bank made the correct choice because time was of the essence of this project. So method that could offer fast tracking. Selecting a design builder led by the contractor, I think that the work on the project was able to begin with very little completion of the design. So they were able to fast track in that sense. Next slide. Do you think that the qualifications-based GMP approach had any effect on the bank's ability to retain control over the design? Yeah, the procurement method that was selected by the owner allowed them to maintain control by establishing an open book contract, meaning that the bank could oversee how the budget is being used and also incentivize staying below the guaranteed maximum price with additional premiums. Next slide.
Overall, for the conclusion,
Mark, you're on mute.
I was on mute. My fault, guys. All right.
Yeah.
As I was saying, I just want to go over my part real quick one more time, which was number 4. What was the bank's biggest reason for using the CMR? Like I said, it was the speed and everything being the bank definitely wanted everything on a one consolidated area, and that's kind of why they had a construction-led team that already had experience in aggressive scheduling. So fast tracking was the biggest thing for it. And that goes on to say for everything else, everything happened to do with fast tracking. And overall, I think this was just a good Design Build was a good reason to choose for the owners because they want to guarantee a good performance, and everything wasn't lacking, or everything was in one accord, one brain essentially. So that's it, guys. Enjoy.